All right, let's just jump right into it. We are tracking a massive shift in the world of artificial intelligence. I mean, if you thought the last couple of years were a whirlwind, you need to buckle up because the entire landscape is basically restructuring itself right in front of our faces.
And this statement right here, it just nails what's going on. We're moving out of that wild, chaotic phase where everyone was just rushing to stake a claim. That's over. Now, we're in an era of, well, calculated power plays. The biggest players aren't just exploring anymore. No, they are building fortresses and drawing battle lines.
And you don't have to look far for the perfect example. Let's talk about the moves being made by two of the biggest empires in the game, Microsoft and OpenAI. They've just hammered out a deal that completely redefines their whole relationship.
Just take a second and let that number sink in. $165 billion. That's the reported valuation for Microsoft's potential new slice of OpenAI. To give you some context, that's bigger than the entire economy of a lot of countries. This isn't just some investment. It's a foundational alliance on a scale we've never really seen before in tech.
So how in the world are they pulling this off? Well, the structure is clever. It's a very complicated balancing act. As you can see here, the deal lets OpenAI spin up this for-profit arm, which can go out and raise the insane amounts of cash you need to build this stuff. But, and this is the whole key, the original nonprofit is supposed to still be in charge, holding the reins, with a mission to put safety ahead of profits. It's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, which, creates some serious tension.
But this is definitely not a done deal. You've got major hurdles, especially from regulators. The attorneys general in both California and Delaware are looking at this whole thing under a microscope, and they're asking a really fundamental question. Can an organization that was created to benefit all of humanity really stick to that promise when it's also chasing massive for-profit growth?
And, the financial stakes here are just staggering. If OpenAI can't get this new corporate structure pushed through by the end of the year, investors could literally claw back almost $19 billion. This is way more than a legal headache. It's an existential threat. It could totally cripple their ability to raise the kind of money they need to stay in the game.
Now this is where it gets really fascinating, because this slide perfectly shows Microsoft's strategy. At the exact same time they're signing this historic deal to go deeper with OpenAI, their own AI CEO is telling his staff that they are making significant investments to be totally self-sufficient. It's the ultimate hedge. They want access to all of OpenAI's genius while also building their own lifeboats just in case they ever need them.
And what Microsoft is doing, that's really just a smaller version of a much, much bigger trend. This whole drive for self-sufficiency, for independence, it's not just a corporate strategy anymore. It has gone global. It's a full-blown geopolitical race now.
So here's the critical point. Right now, a huge chunk of the world's AI development, whether it's happening in Silicon Valley or in Beijing, is all running on foreign hardware, specifically chips from a handful of companies, especially Nvidia. And if you're a country with big ambitions, that is a massive, massive strategic vulnerability.
And that is the exact question that's driving this enormous shift across the globe. Nations are waking up to this dependency, and they are now pouring unbelievable resources into breaking free. And China is making some of the most aggressive moves we've seen yet.
Yeah, China is not playing around. This isn't just a couple of side projects. We're seeing a really coordinated push. You've got tech giants like Alibaba and Baidu that are already using their own custom-built chips for AI. And then, backing them up, you have this massive state-funded war chest, an $8.5 billion fund from Beijing, with one clear goal: total AI independence.
Okay, so you might be thinking, this all sounds a bit abstract, right? Geopolitics, corporate strategy. But all this competition is directly responsible for pushing AI out of the research lab and into our actual lives at a truly incredible speed.
Let's look at the business world. One of the biggest problems with using AI at work has always been context. Well, Anthropic just launched a new memory feature that tackles this problem head-on. It lets different teams create their own separate silos of information. What that means is you can have an AI that actually remembers the details of your specific project instead of just what it knows from the entire internet. It's a huge step toward making AI a genuinely useful coworker.
And it's not just about making our jobs easier. AI is now taking on roles at the very highest levels of government. And honestly, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
So get this, in Albania, an AI voice agent named Dillia has been officially appointed to the government's cabinet, and its job? To oversee one of the most sensitive parts of any government, handing out public contracts. The whole goal is to use an AI that can't be bribed, that has no political allies to reward, to try and finally root out a long history of corruption.
And this, right here, brings us to the final critical question that's just hanging over this entire new era. From corporate boardrooms making billion-dollar deals to government cabinets awarding billion-dollar contracts, we are handing over an incredible amount of power to these systems. But as we do it, we're stepping into this strange new world where we haven't even begun to figure out what accountability looks like. What seems bizarre and futuristic today will probably be normal tomorrow. And that is a truly wild thought to end on.